Good morning, everyone. 8:15. Time for your extra shot of what's trending, what's hot today.
Yeah.
Right here on the extra shot. So the extra shot, by the way. This is the extra shot. Okay, here we go. We're going to dive right in. Let's talk about Ladies Professional Golf Association, LPGA. There's some news this morning. Women are speaking out on this, which is interesting to me because it has everything to do with what females are now allowed to wear by LPGA when they're out there on the green, correct, Dina?
Yes, and what they're not allowed to wear.
What they're not allowed to wear.
Okay, so the LPGA has just initiated a new set of guidelines for what women can wear while they are on the links. They could face a $1,000 fine, by the way, when they break these rules. So here is part of the policy. Okay, a racerback with a mock or regular collar are allowed. No collar equal no racerback. So there's that. Okay, so a racerback with a collar is allowed. But if there's not a collar on the racerback, so it's not like a collared tank, you can't wear it if it's one of those workout racerbacks.
They want a collar. They want
a collar.
Okay.
A plunging neckline, not allowed. Leggings, unless under a skirt or shorts, are not allowed, which I found interesting. So you can't wear leggings. Length of skirt, short, and skirts must be long enough to not see your bottom area, even if covered by shorts underneath. It's got to be something that if you stand or bend over, nobody can see your bottom side. Appropriate attire should be worn to pro-am parties as well. You should be dressing yourself to present a professional image, they say, unless otherwise told no, golf clothes are acceptable. Dressy jeans are allowed, but cutoffs or jeans with holes are not.
What is a dressy jean? Dark denim?
This probably dark denim.
I feel like we were going backwards in time.
Hold, not done.
This is 2017.
Not done, not done. Workout gear and jeans of all colors not allowed inside the ropes. No workout gear. Joggers are not allowed. So, here we go. A lot of women, actually a lot of these
are supporting this?
Yes, a lot of female golfers are saying, you know what, if we're supposed to be taken seriously, men have a uniform that they have to wear. A lot of professional athletes and the male-dominated sports have to wear suits on the plane. They have to present themselves in a very professional way.
Right.
But for women in general, I think that it's interesting because some of these outfits are specifically made and catered to that sort of attire, the leggings, the racerback tank tops, but they say none of that on the course, none of that while you're playing golf.
Okay, so while Dina was reading this, I started looking up the age range for women's professional golfers.
Okay.
Because reading this, it sounds like, you know, when you have like that grandparent or someone who says, you kids out there listening to that hippity hop, which is hippity jeans, and it sounds
a little bit like that?
It sounds a little bit like that, especially with some of the words used, like dressy jeans. I don't even know what that is at this point. And jeans without holes in them. Now you're it's hard to go to a store and find jeans that don't have holes in it. So one, it seems like this was written because usually people on the board skew a little older. The decision makers in some organizations, not saying this in particular, but sometimes you find that they're a little older in age and they've been around for a little longer.
Yeah.
And also it sounds like a lot of men were involved with the decision making, because what I gather from this is you don't want to be distracted by my skin. You can't play golf because I have my shoulders out or leggings on, and it may make you feel away, so you want me to cover up so you won't be distracted.
Yeah, that's
what I get from
that's where I'm sitting at. I want to know, is there a specific event that caused them to want to implement these changes? Because why now?
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden?
Right.
But I am curious to know what the women in the league are saying.
Yes, so an ESPN women's columnist, Sarah Spain, weighed in on Good Morning America this morning and said, in our society, we have a lot of trouble separating women from their sexuality. It feels like the men's dress code is about tradition and professionalism. Feels like the women's dress code, particularly in the way it's written, feels like chastising. She said, it's really not about what's best for the golf game or tradition or professionalism. It's about the fear of sexualization. And I don't know where that fear is coming from. Is that at the top of the LPGA?
Was there an event where some male on the course was distracted because a woman's shorts were too short? When my response to that is, well, then you as a man need to learn how to control those feelings. I mean, it's just calling out some of the people who even said on this set that this bottom half of our legs is too distracting. So, well, that's not what this is about. This is a dress. This is considered professional for the workplace. I'm talking and the vision is up here. It should be at least placed there. I can't control how you feel, but I'm not going to change the way I am.
Right.
For that reason.
Right. Well, a professional, Christina Kim, said to Golf Magazine, I may sound like an old fuddy-duddy, as you were kind of saying. She said, but this is our place of business. I think players should look professional. She added some players that are not regulars on the tour but compete in some events may need these clarifications when it comes to the guidelines.
Now, I can see if people were getting a little out of hand if somebody was golfing in straight poom-poom shorts and a bra top. I get certain things. However, leggings and no racer bags, that's just different. And things change in regards to clothing. My day job, I've always had a day job. Yes, I'm an entertainer, but when I was living in New York, I worked at an investment bank in campus recruiting, and this was at the time, it was Barclays, when Lehman Brothers went under and Barclays bought Lehman Brothers. The two cultures merged, and the conversation always was, the Lehman Brothers way of dress for women was very professional. Stockings, they still wore stockings. This was 2008 and 2009, 2010. Pearl necklaces, long sleeves, completely buttoned up, as were Barclays. We would wear our dress business attire, but we could wear sandals, open-toe shoes, and that was considered risque. It was like, oh my God, you have on open-toe shoes? We wore stockings here. So at certain, and as things went on, the Lehman side became a little more relaxed, because at the end of the day, can you do your job? Are my shoulders keeping you from doing what you need to do? And if they are, then the conversation isn't about what I'm wearing. Then it may be about what it is that's driving you to feel this way.
And that's kind of what Susan Weiss from Teen Vogue, she weighed in and said, as more and more pointless dress codes interfere with our daily lives, women are standing up for their right to wear what they want and not be slut-shamed. Apparently, the LPGA missed the memo about that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're calling attention to it now, and by implementing this dress code, it's almost like you're categorizing that all women are overly sexualized and that they're all dressing that way, and now we have to make regulations. When you leave it up to the women, but apparently maybe this was a case where someone went a little too far and ruined it for everyone. I don't know.
Maybe. But leggings?
Like, yeah. Leggings.
Leggings. To me, I don't understand where this argument against leggings came into play. I understand that some leggings, and those aren't considered leggings, they're more tights, which shouldn't be worn by themselves because they can be too sheer where they're see-through. I understand that walking around. Even I see a lot of young girls throwing on leggings thinking, okay, the tighter the better. They're going around and you can see right through them. I can see how, for whether it's a man or a woman walking around with see-through pants, maybe just a little just not appropriate. But the thicker they get, I think it's fine. Is it how tight they are that bothers LPGA? And then who deems appropriate? What's that line? Who's judging it to say, okay, that's appropriate, that's not? Because what is it? Professional jeans or fancy
dressy?
Yeah, conservative.
What
jeans,
is
whatever.
dressy jean to me? Is maybe a light wash, a little tighter, some nice pockets in the front and back, maybe some tiny tears, but nothing. That's dressy to me.
Right.
But to another Joe Schmo, dressy is dark denim, absolutely
Boot
the darkest
cut.
wash, boot cut, a little tiny flare where mine's like the tie. So who is bringing the hammer down when it comes to appropriate and not appropriate?
And what's the dress code for men? So again, you got your bicep out, man. Your bicep, your bicep it was glistening in the sun. I saw you when you hit that ball and then you sank that hole in one.
Inappropriate.
You were glistening.
You had your shirt unbuttoned just a little too far.
You had the two buttons undone, and then your dad had, it was a little jazzy. So we might have to address this. Your pants fit a little tight in the back. I saw that you've been working out, sir. So, where's the line?
Another woman, LPGA pro Sandra Gal, says.
Okay, this is a pro. She's in the game.
In the game. The only point I agree with is that there should not be low-cut tops, but I've never really seen it even be an issue. I think racerbacks look great on women. I think short skirts have been around forever, especially in tennis. I don't think it has hurt that sport at all, considering they play for the same prize money as the men. Our main objective is clear, play good golf, but part of being a woman and especially a female athlete is looking attractive and sporty and fit, and that's what women's tennis does so well. Why shouldn't we? I've talked to a few other players, and like me, they don't agree with it either.
You play as good as you feel, right? I had coaches over the course of time say, you know what, yeah, we play softball, and men in baseball would be like, oh, why do they wear bows in their hair? You know, especially when we were young, it was always one of those things, like we weren't taken seriously but we were playing fast-pitch softball. It was the same exact game, you know, just with a little bit bigger of a ball. And for us, and for some who wanted to wear the bows, to me, the bigger the bow, the more aggressive I felt. And that was to me, because that was fashion style, how I felt on the field. And that is so much of sport, is what you're rocking out on the field or the course or the court. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally do. And again,
steps backwards. Let's keep moving forward.
Christian Cavallo says, I disagree that skin is a distraction. It's a uniform. Guidelines should be set in place.
All right, Christian.
And then it's updating now, but keep chiming in. I think that the interesting part about this conversation is the whole argument that what about women's tennis? You know, what about women's volleyball? For women playing golf, in many cases, it's women against women. There are tournaments where, there are tournaments where women are invited to play with the men, and that's typically how it's phrased, is women invited to play with the men, unfortunately. But, you know, I used to cover the celebrity golf tournament in Reno when I was working for a station in Nevada, and seeing the female pros come out and the guys come out and the celebrities come out, they're all kind of breaking the rules, wearing flip-flop sandals and just having a good time. And it's like, in that setting, it's fine. But then when it comes to the professional side, as a parent of a daughter who wants to get into the sport, do you agree that a racerback is just too risque? I mean, do you think rules should necessarily be set? I think women playing with women, I'm not judging you, you're not judging me, but is it the men's issue? Is it the issue with certain men and certain people in a different demographic who are looking at that and seeing that as unprofessional? Are other women also agreeing that it's unprofessional? What do you think? Most of these people seem to be kind of divided, but not so happy about it.
Yeah. That's interesting. We'll see. I do want to point out, though, in regards to in people of color, in some places, dreadlocks and natural hairstyles are unprofessional. So sometimes just because something you think is unprofessional isn't necessarily unprofessional. Maybe it just makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. And David Wong, real quick, said, "Are clothes from Loudmouth permitted?" That's the brand that John Daly wore. I actually have some Loudmouth pants. I don't know. Those are super overly eccentric, bright, vibrant, very bold colors. There are skirts, there are pants. So I don't know. I'm sure it doesn't say anything about color.
Well, you talk about, you want to talk about Nike, Adidas, those who are the sponsors of some of these golfers. You know, how is this going to change that side of the game? Because then they have to go step back and say, oh, okay, we can't design a nice skirt that hits mid-thigh because when she bends over, it's going to potentially show her. It's like
and it depends on how tall you are too.
Right.
Yeah.
If you got
we'll see where this goes.
Junk in the trunk.
LPGA, I imagine, is going to get a lot of pushback on this. I see support though.
Yeah, there's still some support.
But we'll see where this song goes. Okay, speaking of the way in which we dress as females, the way in which we carry ourselves, we're talking about here in the U.S. This next story though has everything